Greetings, friends. This is the week of Shabbos Nachamu, a time of comfort after the unbearable suffering of Tisha B'Av. This Shabbos, we rekindle the fire of hope within our hearts, the hope and belief that Hashem will soon wipe away all our tears. At this time, I want to present a bittersweet story written by a close friend of ours. It is sweet because of the magnificent person who wrote it and the incredible transformation which it describes. It is bitter because this great lady left this world in the prime of her life a few weeks ago. She was one of the heroes of Yerushalayim, a woman dedicated to helping her people. The story of how her life intersected with our life is detailed below in her own words. I present it in her blessed memory to inspire us all to greatness. Please hear the words of Anna. It was the summer of 1983. I hoped to convince my parents that I was still Jewish. So I wrote a college thesis paper entitled, quote, "Is Messianic Judaism credible?" and gave it to my parents to read. Yisroel Roy Newberger happened to call my father that week in a fundraising effort for Hineni Rebbetzin Young Rice's organization. When my father heard Yisroel's voice on the phone, he burst into tears, real tears. Yisroel, he said, my daughter was searching for God and I failed her. All my Jewishness was not enough for her, and now she believes in Yashka. She thinks she can be Jewish and Christian together. Though he said those words out loud, the pain in my father's heart was unbearable. He could hardly continue to speak. An intellectual, analytical, successful lawyer, he was also highly emotional, and only words that sounded like wails came out now. The quote from her father continues, "She will intermarry and raise her kids to be Christians. This is the end." I knew from all those questions she was asking us about what do we believe and who do we think was the Messiah and serving God, that she was either thinking about becoming a religious Jew or it was this. Yisroel, that's me, listened with compassion to the pain that my father was expressing and responded by saying, "Would your daughter come to us for Shabbos? Tell her she's invited. She's really welcome to be with us and see what Shabbos is like." That same week, searching for a way to discuss the spiritual situation with my parents, whom I dearly loved, I called home and asked my mother if she and my father had read my term paper. Mom said, "I read it, Dad did not." My father couldn't speak to me directly. The ache in his heart and shock to his system were too overwhelming. So it was my mother who extended the Newberger's invitation, hoping that I would agree to go. My mother said, "There's a family in Woodmere who invited you for Shabbos. They're very close to a woman named Rebbetzin Esther Young Rice, who started an organization called Hineni, and they would love to have you over." To my mother's great relief, I replied, "Wow, that would be great. I'd love to have a chance to meet real Orthodox Jews who really keep Shabbos." It was already over 2 years that I had heard the Messianic Jewish born-again Christian take on all the biblical verses that they claimed proved, quote unquote, proved that Yahshua was the Messiah. I had read the Bible through and through. And didn't it say the mitzvos were forever? So why weren't the Messianic Jews holding by that? With the advice of Rebbetzin Young Rice guiding them, the Newbergers knew not to address my questions about the differences between Judaism and Christianity at the Shabbos table. Let her taste Shabbos without her mind focusing on Christianity. Let her just experience the Kedusha, the holiness of what Shabbos is really like, were Rebbetzin Young Rice's words. So it was that I experienced Shabbos for the first time in my life. One of the most powerful turning points for me was when it was time to wash my hands before Hamotzi on Shabbos night. Quote, Ari, can you help Anna say the bracha al natilas yadayim? Leah called to her 6-year-old son, the fourth of the Newbergers' 5 children. There we stood in the kitchen looking down to little Ari, who was looking at me with a big smile, telling me in his melodious, sweet, innocent 6-year-old voice how to pour the water on my hands and then what to say. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al netilas yadayim. My heart melted. Wow, this 6-year-old knows more about Judaism than I do at age 23. I need to know more. That's what I was thinking. And that was the beginning of my connection with the very special, loving, dedicated, devoted Newbergers. 3 years later, the Newbergers hosted my Shabbos Kala before my chassan and my wedding in the White Shul in Far Rockaway, where they celebrated with me my chassan, my very relieved and tremendously happy parents, and all of their extended family at an authentic, genuine, joyous, religious Jewish wedding. And my connection with the Newberger family continues until today, nearly 40 years later. Anna went on to become a holy woman in the holy city of Yerushalayim. When she left this world, her departure caused a gaping tear in the heart of many people. Her life had brought hope and comfort to many others. I present this as an inspiration for all of us and as a merit for her holy neshama. Just as Anna brought Nechama, comfort, to countless Jewish women, so may Hashem bring comfort to us as we await the day of our ultimate redemption, when Hashem will wipe away all our tears. Good Shabbos.